Hello everybody, good afternoon. Beginning of our today class. First everybody, we very much appreciate ourselves because we are now in the 21st century, particularly that during the degeneration time. And this moment, within this moment, there are so many people who are totally indulged with the samsaric things. But we are very fortunate to have time to reflect on how to realize emptiness in order to get rid of the root of the suffering, the root of the samsara. Please rejoice yourself, appreciate all the opportunity we have today to study, reflect on the emptiness. Somehow, if we really believe in nirvana, wish to achieve nirvana or Buddhahood, then we really need to know, need to realize emptiness. Number one. Number two, the realizing emptiness means we need to know, we need to realize the actual, the reality of all phenomena. Until today, until this life, all our previous life totally, have a lot of confusion. Due to all the confusion mind, so we really cycle in the samsara. And this life is become very important for us to realize the actual fact or truth in order to get rid of the samsara, get rid of the root of the samsara. Therefore, this class is become very important, also become very meaningful. So when we try to understand the real nature, the real truth of phenomena, until today, we all look like a blind person. Then there's let's say, 4 blind person who are around an elephant. All of them agree there's an elephant. There's an elephant. Then one blind person, touch from the face. Then he or she could say, oh, the elephant is look like a long tail, because he or she is touching the nose of the elephant. Because he or she only can feel the face parts, particularly the nose. For him or her, elephant means it look like long like tail. Then one person touch, behind the elephant. Then when he touched the behind, he can touch the tail. For him, elephant mean look like a small piece of like a rope. Then one person touched the side of the elephant. For him, elephant may look like just one big round. He or she cannot feel the nose, cannot feel the the tail. For him, elephant may look like one big round object. Then other side, the person who touching other side, he or she just touching around the leg and feet. So he or she cannot feel the belly part, cannot feel the nose, cannot feel the tail. For him, elephant means another piece of big like chunk of wood. When they discuss about elephant, the four person has different ideas, different perspective. Then there's another person who can see the actual elephant. And the person who can see the actual elephant, according to his knowledge, the four people who talking about elephant, all of them in talking about elephant, the idea, the perspective are totally wrong, totally mistaken view about elephant. Until now, we are the blind person, touching a part of the phenomena. We have the totally wrong perception about the truth. Therefore, we have all kinds of the misunderstanding of the phenomena. Then we have all the mistaken mind, like attachment, anger, so and so. When we realize the truth phenomena, then there's not very particular thing our mind fully attach on it. There's not such a particular thing our mind totally had angry about the phenomena, because we fully realize the emptiness. Therefore, we should not live in the confusion, the confusion state about the phenomena. We need to realize, we need to discover the actual truth of the phenomena. Then the four blind person, it look like the four schools. The first two, like the lower schools, then Chitta Mantra school, then within the Madhyamaka, there are two sub-schools, the Pasangika and Swatantika. The Swatantika has the same kind of mistaken view about the reality. Then the Pasangika, who really follow perfectly the Pasangika, the person look like person has a perfect eyesight, can see the actual elephant. So we wish to be the Pasangika proponent, follow perfectly the Pasangika view, which is view from the Nagarjuna. Therefore, this topic is very difficult, even though when we read in Tibetan, also we feel it's very difficult to understand, because the word is very, tangling. Also, there's a lot of deep meanings. So please, everybody, don't give up. Also, should not think, oh, this is not important. Also, should not think, the recitation are more important than the studying Dharma, particularly studying enter into the middle way. So without taking time, we will do the short revision. Page number 171, identifying the object of negation. The word identifying the object of negation. We need to know, we need to identify what does mean negation, how to negate the negation. So in order to identify the object of negation, there are three parts. How this is presented in the perfect scripture, how the emptiness, explained in the scriptures, particularly the Bhumi Sutras. Then number two, how the meaning of scripture is established by reason. The scripture mention about emptiness, selflessness, but we need to know how they really establish emptiness based on reasonings. So this two line is very important. First, say how this is presented in the perfect, scripture. Then number two, how the meaning of the scripture is established by reason. For example, there are many scripture taught by Buddha. They mention hundreds of times about karma. Also, he taught hundreds of times about next life and previous life. So we must know, yes, Buddha, explained, taught in the scripture about karma, next life, previous life. Second, we need to establish there's a next life, there's a previous life, there's a karma based on reason. If we only follow by scripture, then we never going to have any, the perfect view. For example, sometimes Buddha said, things exist inherently. Sometimes Buddha taught nothing exists inherently. So which one is actually truth? Also, many times Buddha taught there's a creator. Also, many times Buddha taught as well, there's no creator. So which scripture we follow? So in order to follow the scripture, we read the scriptures, then we need to study which is truth based on reasonings. This is same for all the Buddha teachings. Then number three, enumeration of emptiness. So how many kind of, the branches kind of emptiness Buddha taught? Totally the 16, I think, types of emptiness. So within these three parts, how the script, how this is presented in the perfect scripture, how the meaning of the scripture is established by reason, enumeration of emptiness. Within these three parts, there are more than 340 pages. So if you have a lot of free time, please read page by page. If you don't have a lot of free time, then you read all the main points. Now how we know, this is the most important parts. The rest of are mainly like a quotation, quoted from Sutra, quoted from other Madhyamaka teachings. Within the three, the first has two parts. How this is presented in the perfect scripture has two parts. Station showing how it was taught in the scripture. Number one, actually how Buddha taught in the scripture. Then identifying the force of opposing the understanding of suchness, the opposite of emptiness. Then also I ask you to read the benefits of studying emptiness, the benefit of reflect on emptiness, the benefit of just simply think about emptiness. I hope all of you, read all the verses which is explain the benefits of emptiness. One, you always remember one of the king, the father king, killed by his son, the Ajatashatru. He killed his father. Right? Then, at the beginning, of course, he was very happy to go to have the power to rule the kingdom. Now, after a few months, he has a very strong regret, killing about his own father. Due to the regret, he was, depression for many months. He could not sleep, he could not eat, he could not think properly. Then one of his, I think, we say, partner lady, I think, Upali, she suggested to the king, you must see Buddha Shakyamuni. You must see the Buddha. The first time when he, met Buddha, he feels so embarrassed. He have a very strong guilty about his killing his father. He was very upset, very unhappy. Then he asked Buddha, I killed my father. I'm very upset. I'm in depression. I'm not happy. I, could not eat. I could not sleep. Now you can see the point here. When Buddha, give advice, when Buddha advised to the king, Buddha didn't say, oh, you kill your father is very bad. Buddha didn't say. Buddha said, you done good job. We must kill the father and mother. We must kill the parents. They feel, oh, actually I didn't, do serious thing. Because Buddha is one of the respected person. He said it's okay to kill parent. Then he feel big relief. He feel very relief. Then Buddha said, we must kill parent. Then he returned to palace. Then slowly he could eat, he could sleep, he could think, become much, much better. Finally, he overcome from the depression. Then next time he visit again Buddha to, to say thank you for his advice. Second time when he visit Buddha, Buddha said, you are right. I said, he must kill father and mother. It doesn't mean, I'm not talking your physical parents. I was actually saying we must kill the attachment and grasping. Then he able to reflect actual meaning of killing parents mean killed or destroyed the attachment and the grasping. Then slowly, Buddha introducing emptiness. Due to reflect on emptiness, due to studying about emptiness, he fully eliminate the karma he accumulated to killing his father. Therefore, even when you just reflect on emptiness, study about emptiness, have a kind of little thoughts about emptiness, we can minimize a lot of negative karma, we can accumulate a lot of merits. That's why it's so important. We must have a time to think about the meaning. So I ask you to read, the few quotation about explain the benefit of studying reflection on emptiness. Now the scripture here, the station showing how it was taught in the scripture, here in the 10 Ground Sutra, its status. That means the Chandrakirti, when he explained the 10 bhumis, 10 grounds, he explained based on the grounds sutras. Particularly when he explained how the fifth Bodhisattva who abide on the fifth ground to enter in the sixth, then there's a quotation. The sixth ground, he does so by means of the 10 perfect equanimities with respect to phenomena. What are the 10s? I hope all of you memorize what are the 10. So I do another short revision. The first perfect equanimity is the perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of sign. Absence of sign. That means all phenomena are totally equal, not really appear in the meditative equipoise of the Arhat. That means when the Bodhisattva who fully absorb or meditate on emptiness, he or she can perceive only emptiness, none of the phenomena. When he perceives emptiness of like a pillar, emptiness of the house, there's no any differences between emptiness of the house, emptiness of the pillar. You can just perceive the emptiness, nor house, neither the pillar. There's no pillar, there's no house. When the Bodhisattva meditate on emptiness. Within this meditative equipoise, the Arhat can see only emptiness, none of the other phenomena. That means perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of sign. There's no any kind of sign. They said this big, small, good and bad. What is the number 2? What is the perfect equanimity number 2? The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of defining characteristics. Defining is not referred to the definition. All phenomena are totally equal, not exist inherently. All phenomena in their absence of is total absence of defining characteristic, defining characteristic of inherently existent. That means the Buddha, the sentient being, nirvana, samsara are totally equal of absence of inherently existent. Number 2. Then number 3, in their absence of birth, in the being unborn. Mean all the the phenomena is born, means is come being to exist, but not come being to exist inherently. Being unborn, they are born, but then they are not really born as a existent, inherently existent phenomena. Then number 4 is in being unborn. Number 5 in being a void. 6 in the primordial purity. Number 7, they are freedom from elaboration. That means you must remember, you have to say the perfect equanimity, all phenomena in the, for example, number 3, in there are absence of birth. All phenomena, the perfect equanimity of all phenomena in there being unborn. Therefore, the first 2 lines you need to add with in the beginning of all the until the number 8 and 9. Yeah, until number 9, you need to say the perfect equanimity, all phenomena in the perfect equanimity in their absence of affirmation and rejection. Then number 9, perfect equanimity of all phenomena in the resembling of the illusion, dream, mirage, to echoes, to reflection on the moon in the water, to mirror image, and so conjurance. These 6 give you more precise meaning of emptiness, particularly precise understanding of nothing exists inherently. Nothing really can establish within the Arhat meditative equipoise. Therefore, there are 10. Within the 10, so now you can go into page number 172. Is more clearly. Likewise, indicate that the phrase, the perfect equanimity of all phenomena must be extended up to in their absence of affirmation and rejection. That means you need to add the first line until the number 8. These two absence of affirmation and the rejection are single perfect equanimity. These two put together, otherwise it's going to be, number 11. These two, which is the absence of affirmation and rejection, are single perfect equanimity. These two you must count just as a one. The equanimities in terms of the phenomena's resemblance to the 7 simils such as illusion should be taken as a one perfect equanimities. And the last 2 of real and unreal should also be considered as a single perfect equanimity. Meaning you need to know what are the 10. Someday if you count, the real and unreal 2, then the number become, more. Then the next paragraph, of the 10 perfect equanimity, the first in that all phenomena are equal insofar as all this appearance of diverse sun do not exist from the perspective of Arhat meditative equipoise. Mean when we look at around, we can see different phenomena has a different sign, different color, different size, different shape. So if you're looking from the perspective of Arhat meditative equipoise, there's not such a sign, big and small, good and bad, yellow and green. All the appearance of the diverse sign do not exist. Do not exist where? From the perspective of Arhat meditative equipoise. The second is the equanimity of all phenomena insofar as they are all devoid of existence of virtues of their intrinsic character. These two represent in general presentation. The first two is the general presentation of emptiness. The rest of the eight are give you more detailed explanation. One of them, one of the two. The first two are general presentation of emptiness. The rest of the 9 is more detailed explanation about one of the two. Okay, this is again short summary, again explanation about the 10. So today we particularly study about the Svatantika. It's not easy. Make sure it's not easy, but we go a little bit, through the Svatantika school. First, also we already discussed last time, identifying the force opposite the understanding of suchness. So in order to understand the emptiness, we need to know the opposite force of emptiness. That means when we say emptiness, mean opposite is not empty. Empty means the negation. Why it is so important to identify the negation? Why is so important? Then here, in setting forth all phenomena as devoid of true existence, so we have to realize at the beginning, all phenomena are empty. If one does not understand well what constitutes true existence, so we need to know exactly, what does mean truly existent, true existence, and what constitute grasping where? Grasping at, you can say grasping at true existence. Mean we need to know the true important things, true things important. First, we need to identify the negation, which is true existence. Then number 2, we need to know how the grasping, the self-grasping grasps on the true existence, the grasping at true existence. Mean, for example, I said, okay, you go to airport to meet someone. Then I show you, I need to show you a picture. So when you see the picture, you must have very clear, perfect image of the person based on the photo, based on the picture. Make sure you copy the same image in your mind. Right? Therefore, first you need a picture. Then look at the picture many times. Then have the image of the person in your mind based on the picture based on the photo. When you have a, the perfect image of the person, then when you go to airport, then you can really see the person is coming or not, coming or not. When you see, oh, the person is coming from there, then you fully absorb the person. Mean you look like the grasping. Then the person who are coming from there is look like the negation. That means you need to realize the truly existent and the mind which is grabs on the true existent. That means the negation and the innate grasping we need to identify. Otherwise, we're never going to realize emptiness. Is mentioned here. One's view of emptiness will certainly goes astray. Therefore, at the beginning, we need to know this truth, which is the negation and the ignorance or the grasping, which is grabs at the true existence. There's a quotation from the Bodhisattva way. Then thus, if the imputed entity, namely, is the generic concept of what is to be negated, the generic concept, mean the negation which we need to negate, clear? The negation which is we need to negate is not really exist in the reality on the phenomena. The phenomena is always there as it is. The phenomena around us is always there as it is. Whether you are exaggerate, whatever, the thing is always there as it is. That means the negation which is we have within our mind. Within our mind. Therefore, it's namely the generic concept of what is to be negated. Here, the easiest is the analogy we can use. Due to our misperception, we can see something is so beautiful. Someone or something is so beautiful today. When we see again the phenomena tomorrow, the things that pass tomorrow, we cannot see as beautiful as yesterday. That the beauty and ugly we have, or yesterday we have a concept of the beautiness. Today we have concept of ugliness on the same kind of phenomena. Then the concept we have is within our mind. It's not really on the object side. For example, when we see the person is so nice, the object is so beautiful, mean the beautiness, ugliness is your own mental creation. Therefore, it's an imaginary and generic concept of what is to be negated. Simply what here saying, when we look at the phenomena, we have a misperception, we have a misunderstanding. The misunderstanding lies on our own mind. That misunderstanding not on the object. So we need to change our idea, our thoughts, our perception about the phenomena. Therefore, here said, generic concept of what is to be negated does not appear clearly to one's mind. It is said that one will not be able to pinpoint the absence of that object of negation. Therefore, first we need to identify exact meaning of the negation. Mean the exact meaning of the inherently existent. Otherwise, we're not going to recognize that we cannot pinpoint the absence of the object of negation. Therefore, if a clear sense of what is the purported to existent, that which is said not to exist, as well as what phenomena are understood to be empty of object to be negated, do not arise in one's mind, it would be impossible to ascertain clearly the nature of absence of true existence as well as the nature of emptiness. It is not, so first point, simply you must remember, in order to realize emptiness, I need to identify two things. One, the negation, which is I need to negate. The negation lies within our own mind. So first we need to recognize the generic concept of truly existent. Second, we need to recognize the mind, which grabs, which is, it's a hold at the truly existent. Mean we need to recognize the ignorance, how the ignorant hold, grabs on the truly existent. Need to remember two. Otherwise, we cannot realize emptiness. Remember this line. Then, it is not enough to have identified the true existence as postulated by the proponent of the philosophical tenets or their corresponding apprehension of the true existence. So in order to identify the ignorance, in order to identify the negation, it's not enough to identify the ignorance based on one of the like schools. School. Once more he's saying here, it is not enough to have identified true existence as postulated by the proponent of philosophical tenets or their corresponding apprehension of true existence. It is most essential, therefore, to have identified well the innate grasping at true existence. Therefore, we need to recognize the ignorance which is innate. Also, we need to identify the true existence, which is not really exaggerated by one of the schools. I mean, we need, because some kind of, the negation is established based on certain schools. They established by, certain proponent or schools. In the reality, their idea is wrong. Therefore, what we need to know that innate ignorance, must remember, innate ignorance. Also, we need to identify how the innate ignorance grabs the true existence. Clear? What does mean the innate and the, grasping at true existence, which persists since beginningless time. Mean the innate ignorance is always there with all sentient beings for beginningless time. Whether you are Buddhist, you are non-Buddhist, you follow the, any school, any tenets, doesn't matter. The innate ignorance possessed with, with all sentient beings, innate, which is the persist since beginningless time. is present both. Who is the both? Both in those whose mind are tempered by philosophical tenets and those whose mind are not thus tempered as well as the purported true existence. Okay, this means the ignorance, the innate ignorance, possess all sentient being, whether your mind is affected by the particular school or not. Affected by the, your mind is affected by the particular school, or your mind is not affected by any particular school, still you have the innate ignorance, which therefore we need to know the innate ignorance, not the ignorance which is established based on certain school. If you only recognize the ignorance which is established by certain school, mean the particular ignorance which is established by a particular school, then the ignorance cannot be root of the samsara. It cannot be root of all the afflictive emotions. When you are in follow the school, you have the ignorance. When you don't follow school, then you don't have the ignorance. How come the ignorance can be the root of samsara? Therefore, here simple you think the ignorance, which is the actual cause of the samsara, actual cause of all the rest of the affliction, it must be the innate. Whether you are human or animals, then all sentient being has the innate ignorance. Therefore, we need to recognize. So when we try to recognize the innate ignorance, we should not pick on the outside. Oh, she has the innate ignorance. This animal has the innate ignorance. We need to recognize our own innate ignorance. We need to recognize how the innate ignorance grabs the true existence. We thought identify this, which is the innate ignorance and the true existence grabs it by the such as innate mind. We thought identifying this, one might engage in the eliminating the object of negation through reasoning, but this would not undermine whatsoever the clinging to the true existence. This persists since beginningless time. Now it's very serious. If we thought we go, identifying the innate ignorance, how the innate ignorance grabs the true existence, still you try to engage into eliminating the object of negation through reasoning, but this would not undermine whatsoever the clinging to true existence. It persists since beginningless time. Does mean you use a lot of logic and reasoning, try to negate the negation without identifying the innate ignorance, without identifying the true existence. Then doesn't matter how much you use the logic, it never undermine the innate ignorance. Thus, miss the entire purpose at hand. Entire purpose you will be going to miss. Again, we say, let's say, everybody really want to be Buddha. We really want to free from the suffering, free from the samsara. In order to free from samsara, we must be free from the actual root of the samsara. Clear? Which is the ignorance. Ignorance can be two types. one's ignorance established by certain, established by, different schools, different philosophical school. If we only identify the philosophical ignorance, which is established by a philosophical school, then all the logics, reasoning cannot undermine the innate ignorance. Also, number two, in order to realize emptiness, we need to identify the negation. The negation also is not established by philosophical school. The negation which is we need to negate is the true existence, which is grasped by the innate ignorance. That means the true existence is look like like a very solid, big stone. And the ignorance is like an elephant. Ignorance, it look like huge elephant. Truly existent is solid, big stone rock. Then the the grasping, the ignorance, grasps the truly existent. It look like big, healthy rock. In order to free the elephant, from the rock, so we need to cut the grasping. Mean, how the ignorant perceive the phenomena, the misunderstanding about the phenomena. Without, really identify the innate, so identify the truly existent, which is the solid stone, not identifying the innate ignorance, which is the elephant, which is the grasps the truly existent, all the logics, reasoning, going to be, totally useless. All the logics, reasoning never going to undermine the innate ignorance. Then here what we need to learn, what we always need to remember, all our daily, the religious or like a daily practice. Is practice is good to practice for accumulating merit, purifying negative karma, but it never undermine innate ignorance. Therefore, all our daily, dharma study or dharma practice, it never really pick point, the actual, the root of the samsara. Now, to do this, we must first identify the grasping at true existence that lies within our own mind. Thus means the entire purpose at the hand. Now, to do this, we must first identify the grasping. We need to identify our own grasping. And also we need to identify how the grasping at the true existence that lies within our own mind. And understand how the various Madhyamaka reasoning function directly and indirectly to eradicate its object of negation, affirmation. They are directed solely outward, will be no screen benefit. That means now, first, we need to recognize our own ignorance, which is the innate ignorance. And also we need to watch how the innate ignorance grasping at the true existence. And all the logic reasoning can use to undermine the innate ignorance. All the logic reasoning we can apply to negate the true existence. Otherwise, negation or affirmation, doesn't matter how much you talk about, is no use. Outward will have the screen benefit, very little benefit. On related note, if one can understand the identification of what is to be negated according to the Pasangika, right? If one can understand the identification of what is to be negated according to Pasangika Madhyamaka and Savadantika Madhyamaka, one will be able to appreciate the fine difference in their view. So we need to study, this true Madhyamaka like a school, which is Pasangika, is a Sanskrit name. Second is the Savadantika Madhyamaka. One will be able to appreciate the fine differences in their views. There's a very subtle difference between, this emptiness from the Pasangika point of view, point of view from the Savadantika school. Hence, this presentation has two parts. Identifying the grasping at true existence according to Savadantika Madhyamaka standpoint, and identifying grasping at the true existence according to Pasangika Madhyamaka standpoint. So we need to know, the definition of negation according to Pasangika point of view, according to Savadantika point of, Madhyamaka point of view. The first we study based on the Savadantika Madhyamaka standpoint. Identifying grasping at true existence according to Savadantika Madhyamaka standpoint. This has three parts. Number one, identifying true existence according to Savadantika Madhyamaka. Then number two, presenting truth and the falsity within the context of worldly conventional through the analogy of magical illusion. That means truth and falsity according to the worldly conventional through analogy of magical illusion. And number three, explaining the analogy by relating it to the actual reference. Therefore, first we need to study the meaning of true existence according to the Savadantika school, according to their tradition. Then second, we need to learn truth and the falsity. Truth and falsity context to the worldly conventional through analogy of magical illusion. Then according to the Savadantika school, for example, So this is truth, not the falsity. And then the dream, phenomena is falsity. Therefore, according to worldly point of view, certain thing is true, certain thing is falsity. When we think about point of view from Pasangika, all phenomena is totally falsity. All the conventional phenomena are totally falsity. Now identify the true existence and grasping at the true existence. Now it's become more difficult. Other reliable treatises of Savatantika make no clear identification of the object of negation. Make sure you remember this line. Other reliable treatises of Savatantika make no clear identification of the object of negation. But Kamala Shilas, the light of the middle way, present as consideration for conventional existence. The contrary of which can be recognized as a constituting the creation of ultimate or true existence. Here what the text says. Not easy, because when we need to think about the differences between the negation of emptiness, differences between Pasangika and Swatantra school is not easy. For example, Buddha Palita, Bhavavika, the both are the actual disciple of Nagarjuna. That means, the Buddha Palita, he also received in the 5 treatises kind of teaching from Nagarjuna. Then Bhavavika, he also received teaching from Nagarjuna, because both of them is the disciple of Nagarjuna. Bhavavika always believed the meaning of emptiness, the meaning of negation. There's no differences between himself with the Buddha Palita. He thought what Buddha Palita believed, he was thinking he also believed the same way. He never think in the detail there's a differences between Bhavavika himself and the Buddha Palita, because there's no clear differentiation between these two, the negation about these two schools. Then later, Bhavavika, he composed a text about the Madhyamagga, emptiness. Then when the Buddha Palita saw the text, he saw, oh, here's a very different view of emptiness, very different view of the negation. Then he negate his view, but he think me and Buddha Palita, we have a same view of emptiness, same view of the negation. Then he negate, he reject, or Buddha Palita reject, or criticize his view of emptiness, the view of negation. Then later, Chandrakirti, make more clear. Until the Bhavavika and Buddha Palita, there's no such as, there's a true, school within the Madhyamaka. For example, Shandideva, he also, disciple of Nagarjuna. He just talk about Madhyamaka, emptiness, negation, but he didn't, differentiate more detailedly about emptiness and the negation. Then also Bhavavika has the same idea. Then later, then the Buddha Palita, when he saw his books, then he saw, wow, he has a lot of different view. Then he reject all the view. Then he give a very detailed explanation about emptiness and negation. Then later part, Chandrakirti give a more detailed explanation about negation and emptiness based on the Nagarjuna point of view. They were not easy. Then here say, look at other reliable treatises of Savadantika make no clear identification of the object of negation, but Kamalashila, the light of the middle way, present as a creation of the conventional existence. Then he give a particular definition of the conventional existence. Not also conventional existence and conventional phenomena is different. Okay. According to Kamalashila, according to Sautantaka school, all phenomena conventional existent, but not the conventional phenomena. Should not mix up these two. Conventional existent. The opposite of the conventional existent can be recognized the constituting the continuation of the ultimate or true existence. Therefore, conventional existence, then the opposite is the ultimate or true existence. Here what the text says. Though things do not possess essence in the reality, the erroneous mind refuses them contrary to the nature. That is called the conventional. Because as it were, it occurs suchness, or through the suchness is covered over a suggest sutara step. So only you can see there's a few lines. So without reading all the verses, I'll give you a simple, idea. What does mean true existence, ultimately existent, according to Svadantika school? When we look at our own, certain thing appear to the sensory consciousness. For example, the cup. The cup perceived to the sensory consciousness, the cup. Then we have the concept, idea, oh, this cup is so beautiful, the cup is so nice. The concept of nice, the concept of beautiful, the concept of ugliness, everything appeal to the conceptual thoughts, not the sensory consciousness. The sensory consciousness, eyes consciousness, head consciousness, just perceive the thing as it is. Then second, we have thought, right? Oh, this is nice, this is ugly, this is big, this is small. Everything is perceived, established through the conceptual thoughts. This means according to the Svadantika school, all phenomena, permanent, impermanent, emptiness, whatsoever, all phenomena established by a mind. Established by mind. Mind can be the sensory consciousness or the conceptual consciousness. Established by the thoughts. That means established by thoughts also exists from their own side. Remember, two, established by thoughts or minds, also established by their own side. It means combine two together. How established by, for example, what is this? This is a cup. So the cup we named, I'm not saying, make sure we're not saying this cup name. We say this thing there, then later we give a name, say this cup. Then this thing, I'm not saying the cup, but this container became a cup with the two condition. One, the minds. Second, there's something must be from the object side to establish this is a cup. Clear? This phenomena became a cup with the true condition. What are the two conditions? One is the minds or thoughts establish a cup. Second, this thing became a cup because this object has a very particular thing to be a cup. Otherwise, we can name anything. We can say, oh, this is also cup. This cannot be cup, this is cup. Because two conditions there. Established by thoughts, also established by their own side. And this phenomena, we can give a name. We can give a name. We can establish by thoughts, this is a cup. But this never be a cup. Because it doesn't have something to be a cup from this object side. That means the true condition come together, the thing can be established like a car, house. There need two sides. One is from the object side, subject side, one from the object side. If the only established by subject side, then everything can be a cup. You can say, oh, this is a cup. This also cup. Because we can have a thought, but it never be cup. So remember, two conditions come and thing established as a cup, established as a car, a house. That means all phenomena established by thoughts, not only thoughts. Make sure, established by thoughts, not only thoughts, established by their own side. One side. This means how in everything conventionally existent. Then the opposite is ultimate or true existence. What's the opposite mean? The thing not established by thoughts still exists. Mean this is the definition of ultimate truth. Anything exists without established by thoughts, mean is the opposite of the conventionally existent, which is mean ultimate or true existence. Therefore, simply what you need to think, according to the Swatantra school, Saudantika school, from their point of view, ultimate truth. True existence means the phenomena established exist without the minds. Without established by mind, thing exists mean ultimate or true existence. Because all phenomena established by thoughts and exist by their own side to come together. Anything established exists without established by thoughts mean ultimate and true existence. So this one, if you have a time, you can read more, and there's a lot of words. Now more interesting and difficult parts. The last paragraph, page number 175. 175. One might ask, if this is so, mean according to the Swadhananda school, none of the phenomena cannot be truly exist. Exist with the thoughts, exist by little, by their own side. The opposite is, true existence, ultimate existence. Then we say there are nothing truly existent. Then there's a doubt here. One may ask, if this is so, how do you explain this statement in the light of the middle way? To say that ultimately there's no arising is to say that they are not established as such as by the perfect cognition or through the implication, this define ultimate existence. And in terms of being established as arising and as existent by additional cognition of suchness. Here we need to know the true, different meaning of ultimately exists or unexistent. We need to know the true. Reply, yes, this is true, but you must understand that with respect to the proverso ultimately, the words ultimately, there are true sense of the term ultimate. There's a true sense of term ultimate. One is where rational cognition is the form of threefolds: wisdom of hearing, reflection, and meditation are characterized as ultimate. Phenomena are not established by such as cognition in the manner defined above. That means ultimate. There's a one ultimate referred to the subject, particularly three, right? Hearing, the reflection, and meditation, particularly the meditation, the three, the mind training. Ultimate phenomena are not established by such as cognition in the manner or defined above. The other sense of ultimate is what existent through ultimate is where existent through the thing on objective mode of the being and not by virtues of the power of cognition is defined as the ultimate existence. We need to know the true meaning of ultimate. Ultimate. The first ultimate is the wisdom. The consciousness, which is wisdom, is ultimate. Therefore, all the conventional phenomena not really established by the wisdom. Again, remember the first The first, among the 10, the first one, the perfect equilibrium with all phenomena in their absence of sign. In all the conventional phenomena, not truly existent within the wisdom. So there's a two types of ultimate meaning. The second one is again, it's become more clear about the negation. The other sense of ultimate is where existent through a thing's own objective mode, own objective modes of being, and not by virtues of the power of cognition, is defined ultimate. So please remember the second one. Other sense of ultimate is where existent through a thing's own objective mode of being, and not by the virtues of the power of cognition, is the divine and ultimate. So as for your homework, you need to remember first the negation according to Chitta Mantra, according to Sautanta school. In order to know the negation, you need to know what does mean ultimate, what does mean conventional existent. All phenomena conventional existent, the opposite is ultimate. Ultimate or true existent means the phenomena established by their own mode, without, established by cognition or consciousness or mind, is ultimate. That means according to the Sautanta school, all phenomena can be exist with the true condition. One, exist by their own mode, on site, also established by thoughts. It's like a true compound together. Then we can say this is a cup. We give a name through our thoughts, consciousness, perceives a cup, and also this cup has a one unique, kind of characteristic to be a cup. Then second, you need to remember the ultimate has a true meaning. One ultimate, which is referred to the wisdom. Wisdom, which is realized emptiness. Then the emptiness is ultimate truth, because the emptiness is apprehended by the wisdom. The second is the ultimate, which is referred to the negation. Mean again here, existent through a thing's own subjective, objective mode of being, and not by the virtues of the power of cognition. Now we go the next topic, presenting the true and falsity within the context of the worldly conventional through the analogy of magical illusion. There's two kinds of conventional. One is the truth conventional, one is the falsity conventional. In order to know, we need to know the second line. The analogy of magical illusion has been held a way of making one understand how something exists by virtues of the being posited by the power of the mind, how something exists without being posited in the such as manner of. So how we know things established or posited by thoughts or mind. In order to realize the thing posited, established by thought, we need to know the magical illusory, the magical phenomenon. By the power of the mind and how something exists without being posited in such a manner. When the magician conjure a horse, when the magician produce or establish or emanate horse or elephant from the pebbles, stick, and so on, mean like chanting or mantra. So in order to establish the magical illusory, they need three things. The first, the pebbles, then sticks, and so on, mean mantra. These three come together, then they can, the illusion, the magician can produce horse and elephant, whatever he or she wants. So on. Three types of people are present. Now we can imagine, we all in the hall, the magician showing a horse, elephant. We can imagine we are watching elephant on the stage. How the elephant produce on the stage? Three things: the pebbles, stick, and mantra. Right? Imagine. Then three types of people are present. The magician himself. The magician also, he can see there's an elephant. We also can see there's an elephant. Magician himself and a spectre whose eyes are affected. Also, we are the audience, who perceive the elephant. Our mind is affected because of the mantra. The magician himself, his mind as conscious also affected by mantra. Therefore, both we and the magician, we both can see there's elephant. Elephant is perceived by spectre whose eyes are affected, and the spectre whose eyes are unaffected. That means, remember three things, 3%, three types of person. One is the magician, one we are affected. Then there's another person, he or her mind is never affected by mantra. He or she cannot see anything. We can see elephant. The magician also can see elephant. 3%. The magician and we, and the person who mind is not affected by the mantras. In the first case, who is the first? The magician himself. The first case, the horse or elephant is perceived but not apprehend. Mean the magician can see there's a horse and elephant, but the magician never think there's a real horse, there's a real elephant. He said, oh, I can perceive a horse, but he or she never think there's a horse, there's elephant. In the first case, the horse or elephant is perceived but not apprehended. Apprehended means they never think this elephant, this horse. While in the second case, we are the second group, second person. The second case is both perceive and apprehend. So for us, we can perceive the elephant, we can see the elephant. Also, we believe there's a real elephant, there's a real horse. A magician can perceive the horse and elephant. The magician never apprehend this elephant, this horse. Now we can see it's a big difference. Then the third one, well, in the third case, there's neither perception nor apprehension of the horse and elephant. So remember, three types of, person or people: the magician and we. Then the another person who are one is not affected by mantra. The magician can perceive the elephant and horse, can see, but they never have a thought, this elephant, this horse. We perceive the elephant, we perceive the horse, also we believe there's a horse, there's an elephant. And the third person, neither perception nor the apprehension. He cannot see anything. Means there's he cannot perceive as a horse, also he or she never apprehend as a horse. Remember, three types of people. The third case, there's neither perception nor apprehension of the horse or elephant. Now, when the basis for the conjuring illusion is the perceived as a horse and elephant, that means when the basis of conjuring the illusion and perceived as a horse and elephant, unlikely in mistaking a robe of the snake. So this one not important. You just skip this one. You know Ganesh this one. Now we just go to the second paragraph, 177. Now you just skip the previous one. Now for the magician can perceive the horse and elephant, but he or she never apprehend. Right? For the magician, the illusory elephant and horse is posited from the point of view of how is appealed to the anorous perception. Then when the magician say, he can see or she can see the elephant, but they never believe there's an elephant. Now how he perceive, how he know there's no real horse, because he realized everything appeared to me due to my own perception. There's no horse. For the magician, all illusory elephant or horse is posited from the point of view of how it appears to an erroneous perception, mistaking mind, just perceive based on the the erroneous mind, the mistaken mind. Is not posited, however. They know it's not really elephant, but still I can see because due to my affected mind, due to the mistaken mind. However, from the point of view of the basis of conjunction is illusion. From the perspective of the spectator, however, the appeal of the horse and elephant does not seem to be posited through the power of the mind. Rather, they apprehend a real horse, elephant, fully occupying the space on the spot where it is being perceived. This is how, on the basis of analogy, on apprehension something to be posited through the power of mind, or not posited through it. The person who relies on emptiness is look like the magician. Magician can see elephant. Also, he or she relies the elephant which is I perceiving. It is just established by my power of my own mind. Then us, we never realize the elephant, the horse which is perceived to me is established by my mind power. We think there's a real. So this analogy, what we're going to learn, we're going to learn according to the Saudanda school, all phenomena established by thoughts. We need to realize, like the magician realize, think, perceive, but not really perceive by their, but only from their side, perceive due to the power of my mind. This analogy. That means all phenomena is there due to our own minds. Without understanding things established by mind look like us. We never realize the elephant is actually established by our own, the mistaken, the affected mind. We thought there's a real. We are the person who haven't realized the emptiness. For you, please do read more about the analogy of magical illusion and remember the 3 types of person. Next, we go once more, presenting the true and falsity with the context of worldly conventional through the analogy of magical illusory. Remember the 3 types of person. Remember the magician can realize there's no such as elephant and horse. Still I can see because it's established by my own mind. We can perceive elephant and horse. Also we apprehend, we believe there's a real horse and elephant. Then there's a one person, the mind is never affected, like Buddha. Buddha cannot perceive the conventional, ultimately existent phenomena, never perceive. Also, Buddha never apprehend the ultimately existent phenomena. That means the magician look like realizing emptiness. He can see the duality, can realize the duality. We are the just ordinary person who haven't realized emptiness. Whatever perceive, we believe things exist from their own mode, without established by our own thoughts. Then the unaffected person, like the Buddha and also the Bodhisattva who reached to the high level of the ground. So we go one more next time. The next we start explaining the analogy by relating to the actual reference. So please everybody, read few times the page number 172 all the way through 180, ending of the 180. Read few times slowly and reflect very carefully, try to understand. After you read it few times, you reflect it few times, you don't understand, please give a note. Then we can have you can have a question. You can ask, what is this? What is that? I don't understand. Okay, next we will discuss little bit what we discussed today. Mainly we will discuss relating it to the actual reference. Then we will start the Prasangika, the Madhyamaka standpoint. Okay, is there any question? Otherwise, we can stop here because we have only 10 minutes. Also, not easy.
Yes, there's question, Kishila.
Yes.
The feelings about the cup. So, this is a nice or ugly cup. Do the feeling? Okay, the question is regarding the feeling about a cup.
Cup.
Yeah, whether it's nice or ugly cup. Do the feelings of the cup have some things from the side of the cup, or is only from our thoughts?
according to the Swadanta school, we are not talking about feeling. We are talking about the cup, how the cup is exist, how the cup is established with the two conditions. One, our own mind power. One, it will be the the objective side. Two come together. If it is only designated by thoughts, then everything can be everything. Therefore, little bit from the objective side, little bit from subjective side. Then the feeling, happy feeling, unhappy feeling is just only our own creation. It's nothing to do with the real cup or the fake cup. Fake cup. You're talking about how the thing exists with the two modes. One little bit from the subjective side, one little bit from the objective side. Thing exists only if you believe thing only exists objective side, then you are mistaking the real phenomena and the negation. Therefore, when we watch the illusion, the magician illusory elephant, for us, we never realize the elephant is appeared to me because my own mind power. Then the magician realized the elephant which appeared to me, perceived to me, is my own mind power. That means how thing established by our own mind power. Okay, I think look like the battery going to be outlined very soon. So please, everybody, ask question next time because the battery going to be outlined.